Hi, I'm Nicole Unger. My pronouns are she and her. I'm playing Maddie Miller, and I'm currently in Las Vegas, Nevada.
My name is Aaron Watkins. I'm playing Uncle Rufus. I'm here in Brooklyn, New York, originally from Baltimore, Maryland.
Hi, I'm Jolie Prescott. I'm from New York, and I'm playing Delilah.
My name is DALIA ALEMAN. I'm playing the mom in this delightful film, and I live in Davie, Florida, which is just a few miles west of Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
My name is Michael Russell. I am playing Maddie's dad. I am born and raised in Southern California, and currently I'm in Burbank.
My name is Riley Walters. He, him, his. I'm currently living back in my hometown, Wake Forest, North Carolina. And what was that? And I'm playing Ryan Miller.
My name's Ellen Williams. I'm playing Grandma Susie, and I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina right now.
Hi, my name is Nina Dicker. My pronouns are she, her. I am from a lot of places, but I guess I'll say New York City. I'm playing Holly.
I'm Mike Houghton, and from Alexandria, Virginia.
I'm Archie Anderson. I am playing Des. My pronouns are she, her, and I am from Los Angeles, California.
Hi, my name is Sage Mayer, he/him, and I'm playing the role of Jaden. And I live in Los Angeles.
Hi, I am Amelie Chungi. I am from Chicago, Illinois, originally from Cameroon. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and my role in this production was casting director.
My name is Bridget. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the director of the film, and I'm from Chicago, Illinois.
I'm excited to play this role because I can relate to her in a few different ways. I am also a perfectionist, but I like to call myself a recovering perfectionist because I've learned that I need to start letting the little things go. So she hasn't learned that quite yet, but Dahlia did, so that's good. And I just think this is such a funny film with a beautiful message, and it's just told in such an entertaining way. And it's so timely right now because so many families are meeting on Zoom. I myself have a weekly Zoom happy hour with my family all over the US. It doesn't get as crazy as this. I kind of wish it did, but I can certainly relate to that aspect of it and the technical difficulties.
Two reasons. One, it is an incredibly funny script. We have a chance to do something really, really cool here. So I'm excited about that. Second, I have a large family with some odd characters, and so this really resonates with me. The different characters and the different agendas and people talking. It reminds me very much of holidays that I could be having.
There's always that one relative that is just trying to upstage people or to be center of attention. Everything's about her. So I think, every family's got someone like this. So it's just a fun character to play.
Well, I figured Chewbacca probably started out like this. This is a great chance for some recognition because no one's gonna be able to see my face or recognize my voice. And what better shot at fame than that?
Oh, this character is so fun to play. She is so extra. She is fun, but she's self-absorbed, narcissistic, really dramatic. She lives in Paris, and she gets to sing really badly, which is so fun. Because in real life, I don't ever get to be this obnoxious. So it's so fun.
One of the reasons I'm excited to play this character is just because it's that wonderful time of the year, and 2020 has been so crazy that I just like the idea of a family getting together for Christmas. So I get to get this Christmas with you guys, and then I get to do it with my family in about 3 weeks. So this is the precursor.
I think it's a really funny character. I love that you don't really see Des. I love that you just hear the voice of Des in the background. So I got to be very free and creative with the character. And I'm playing a kid, so that was really fun to try and do.
I was super excited when I heard I got the part for this character because I know so many people throughout the years that I can, relate to with the partying on the weekends, some weekdays.
I'm excited to play Holly, partially because I've never played a role with so little clothing, which is so exciting. And, I'm just really getting quite into comedy, and I'm really excited to share her funny moments with everyone.
One, this is the first production that I've worked on, and two, I think it was just a really unique idea, and I feel like so many people will be able to relate to this because of COVID that just completely came into our lives. So I think it's a very funny script.
I'm so excited to play this character for many reasons. I relate to Maddie on multiple levels, and especially her trying to say something and her family just keeps cutting her off. I'm the middle child in my family, and I feel like that happens to me all the time. I'm the one that tries to get everybody to come together, and then I'm also the one that gets interrupted. But I also love how uplifting and just lovely how this story goes. And it's just such a short story, and it says so many things in a short amount of time, and you really get to see cool sides of all these characters. And I just really think it's a neat thing to present to the world, especially right now during COVID and the holidays coming up. So I'm just really excited about all of it.
Grandma Susie reminds me a lot of all of the older relatives I've ever had in my life, kind of like an amalgamation of them. My mom is 91 and she's super, super sweet. And I think it's interesting in the story that I'm the one that, well, I don't want to give anything away, but I, am the one that finally hears Maddie at the end of the story, what she's been trying to say. And I'm accepting of that. And my mom has gone through so many changes and seen so much happen in the world, and she's exactly the same way.
So I'm excited to play this character because he's fun, a little sassy, and it's completely different from who I am.
Fun fact about me. I can bend my thumb at a 90-degree angle. That's fun. I've been vegan for 5 years now, and I have a weird obsession with serial killers.
Spent all my childhood summers in Wiesbaden, Germany, traveling around Europe with my family, and I don't speak a word of German.
I can play multiple instruments, so I play bass guitar, guitar, piano, and a few others.
Fun fact, well, I don't know if it's so fun. I'm a lawyer, I've passed 3 bar exams, and I do stand up, and my routine is called Legally Blonde and Ridiculous.
The hot dog eating contest out in Coney Island, I went in the summer, and when I was young, and there's this guy named Kobayashi, and he's a 6-time, winner of this hot dog eating contest. I think he eats 70 hot dogs in the time it takes. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. I high-fived him before he went up there. I was like, this is a 12-year-old's dream.
I trained as a classical singer and sang opera, and then about when I turned, I don't know, maybe 50, a friend of mine said to me, "Oh, you like to dance. I think you'd love this class at the gym." And she introduced me to Zumba. And I went, and I didn't have my gym clothes with me, whatever. I just kicked my shoes off and started dancing and loved it so much that I became a certified Zumba instructor.
I'm a writer. I've written 3 screenplays, going to write, or 3 features, going to write 3 more. The genre that I tend to write for or work within is coming of age movies or dramas. I really like dramedies more. I like dark humor. So I try to have that reflect in my work.
I am a published author. I'm a comedic writer as well as a comedic performer. My book is on Amazon. It is called Tangerine Vagina, True Stories of Childhood Misfortune and Meaningless Sex. And yeah, it's only $10, and I will love you forever if you get a copy.
My book is called Soul Seeker, and I think I'm retired, and I had 50 years as a public relations consultant and as a journalist in public relations.
I was born in Overland Park, Kansas.
I have been to over 7 countries.
moved to the Bahamas when I was 28 and was a teacher there, and then a mom. And then I moved here to South Florida about 10 years ago.
I grew up in a very small family, just a mother, a brother, and myself. And here I am a few years later, and I've got 4 children and 12 grandchildren.
I actually have a podcast called Retro Reads with Sage, where we talk about all things retro. And it's on every Friday, and we have guests, so it could be retro poems, songs, like we read out like movie scripts. Yeah.
I think the funniest thing I saw was when I was in a large group. One of the people who was not familiar with Zoom took his camera into the bathroom with him.
My work uses something like Zoom, but it's not Zoom, so I wasn't familiar with the platform. And so the first meeting we had with about 50 lawyers is I didn't realize that it was actually supposed to be on video. So my video was on, and I was in my pajamas with no makeup, and I didn't know how to shut off my camera. So I decided the best thing to do, because the button, it wasn't very user friendly. So I decided my best solution was to just duck. So I stayed ducked the entire meeting. It was mortifying.
I went to my sister's house, and she was like, oh, the door's open. So I came on in, and there was nobody in the living room, nobody in the kitchen, nobody in the dining room. I called upstairs. And so I'm just walking around the house, and I'm very familiar with my sister. So I'm like cursing at her, like, hey, where you at? Blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that and all that. And then I hear all this giggling. And then I look on the dining room table, and I look at the laptop, and there were like a whole bunch of little kids looking at me, because apparently my niece was still in class and just had taken a break or something.
I did swear in front of a young child, which was very, very embarrassing. You can't see them. They're so short.
My parents had a very animated discussion. We'll just leave it at that.
I also work with the criminal justice department at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and we do Zoom calls with the students where we do like different scenarios and cases. And I've been like interviewed with a student where something's happened to my character, and I'm trying to be really serious, and I'm like crying, and then my cat jumps up behind me and like starts walking around behind me and meowing, and everybody like tries really hard not to laugh. That's happened multiple times. So that's fun. Zoom and animals.
It was in class, and we had this woman come and talk to our class, and she didn't realize that she didn't have her microphone off, and she swore at our professor and also just like offended him very badly in the whole class. Our whole mouths just like went open, and we were like, what the heck is happening? Because he like literally offended our professor, and then he like removed her from the call.
I got booked for a film with a couple names in it actually, and we were doing our first table read, and my first line is actually kind of almost a monologue. It's kind of long, so we're doing it. I was a little nervous. My time came up. I did my monologue. I thought it was great. I was muted the whole time.
I did have an EcoCast live audition, the first one I had. And of course I was doing it on my camera instead of my laptop for some reason. I can't remember what it was. And the whole time I did it, I looked into the wrong end of the camera because I was used to the lens being on one side. Of course it was on the other side. And the director said, could you look down at the other end of the camera? So that was just a little embarrassing. But, I'm pretty proud. I'm like Grandma Susie. If I get anything technologically correct, I'm so proud of myself.
I was in this audition, and I was actively doing my audition in Zoom. And I guess they didn't block out the waiting room. So there was this gal that was in the waiting room, but she kept popping into my audition, mid-audition. So it was pretty funny, but the audition went well, but it was pretty funny.
I can't say anything crazy has ever happened to me on Zoom. I guess I come from a family that's pretty technologically savvy for the most part.
I used to work for this other office in DePaul. And so everything was switched to online, and we got Zoom bombed so many times. It was so inappropriate. So I can't even say it, but it was It was an experience. Very scary because like one person comes in, then it's like 40 people joining and they're all shouting like obscenities, but I was laughing the whole time because I was like, this is hilarious.
At the beginning of all this, there was a guy who used to throw parties in his basement, and he'd like raise money, you know, for the programs at our school, or they would have like live music and stuff. And when we got into this pandemic, he started bringing that onto Zoom and like YouTube Live. So I would zoom in and there'd be like live music for 3 hours and people commenting, you know, chatting and stuff. It was actually crazy. It was like a party. It was fun.
And senior center rec class, they have to make announcements now because they make announcements that please, during exercises, please keep your clothes on. They've never quite explained that, but apparently someone took off their clothes while they were exercising.
I'm Italian and I'm from New York and I have a big Italian family. So I would say that most of my holidays are probably crazy and I probably just accept that as normal. And then maybe the one time I tried to sit on Santa's lap recently and that went very strange. I think he thought I was trying to give him a lap dance of some sort, but I really do want my Santa picture.
My ex-wife is a perfectionist and kind of crazy, as it turns out. So we were at home one Christmas and she had to do the Christmas tree because she's a perfectionist and she didn't want the 4 kids or me messing with it. So she was in the living room doing the tree. She called us out, said, okay, it's done. We walk out there, it's beautiful. Then all the lights go off. So she goes, oh, all right, I'll fix it. So we go back into the den, start watching TV again. She's out there working on it. All of a sudden we hear this noise and this chaos going on. Evidently, the lights went out again. She couldn't take it. And when I got into the living room, she had the Christmas tree on the floor and she's ripping ornaments off it, trying to beat it up. That's my ex-wife.
So when I lived in the Bahamas, you don't celebrate. I mean, there are people who celebrate Thanksgiving there, but it's not an American holiday, so you don't get the day off. So there were a bunch of American families that I was friends with. Our kids were all friends, and the parents were all friends. And we would take turns hosting Thanksgiving at our house. One year, it was another friend's turn to host Thanksgiving. And when you hosted, your job was to make the turkey and probably a few other things, but definitely the turkey. So around 3 o'clock, you know, because we had to wait for the kids to get out of school, I hear from the host saying, I'm going to have to cancel Thanksgiving because our oven is broken. She had put the turkey in and the oven never came on. Long story short, I'm like, no, we are not canceling Thanksgiving. I'm going to the grocery store and seeing what I can find instead of a turkey. And I actually found a pre-cooked turkey, a Butterball pre-cooked turkey, but it was frozen. So I rushed home to try to defrost it as quickly as possible in so many different ways. It was the first time in my life I have ever called the Butterball hotline. And let me tell you, they picked up quickly. They were very helpful. But we ended up having to, once it thawed enough, cut the turkey up and heat it up in the microwave in bits and pieces. But we did have turkey that Thanksgiving.
We had a turkey in the oven and we went to check on it and the door was locked. All the husbands in the group obviously did the mechanical thing. We tried opening the door and slamming open it and that didn't work. Then finally we decided to look at the instructions and the instructions said every time you try to open that door like that, it adds another 30 minutes to the lock time. So what we were doing was adding to the lock time. But luckily we got it out and we were able to eat.
We went to this restaurant for like 8 years in a row for Christmas. And they have these snails, escargot. And my younger brother, he must have been like, I don't know, 7, 8. But we got him to try one, and after he tried it, we told him it was snail, and he was like, snail, and he was freaking out, and it was just like a little kid, but it was super good.
So the first year my husband and I were married, and we've been married a long time now. The first year we were married, we decided to have his family over for Christmas Eve dinner. And number one, I'm a horrible cook, and my mother-in-law was a fantastic cook. But, and we were poor, really poor. And so my husband worked, he went to school, we both went to school full-time in college, and he worked at UPS from 10 to 3 every night. Well, he got a free turkey, it was frozen. He brought it home. We unwrapped it, and put it in the oven on Christmas Eve. We took it out that night. He went to carve it, and he went into bone. It just hit bone. And I was like, I knew it was deformed and any boobs, and that's why it was free. And my mother-in-law, she was just the most genteel, lovely Southern woman, said, well, maybe it's upside down. And so we turned it over, and it was upside down, but then the breast meat was so juicy and succulent. That's how my whole family now always cooks their turkeys.
When, COVID is not happening, my family, a tradition we do is we go to a Christmas movie. On that day, we see it on Christmas Day and go to the movies. But my family, a lot of them notoriously run late and run behind. So my aunt had orchestrated us going to the movies, and we were like, okay, we showed up at this time. And she was like, the movie hasn't started yet. I actually gave you guys an hour earlier time to get to the movies because I know you guys are late, but we ended up showing up all on time for once. And so it was funny. We just kind of hung out and waited for the movie to start, but she had given us an hour early time because she knew that everyone runs late. So that was pretty funny.
This happened a couple of years ago when I was 16. It was my first girlfriend ever, and my family didn't know that I was gay, and so we were best friends. And we went downtown with my family to visit the Walnut Room, which is a restaurant, and we were caught kissing under a mistletoe by my dad, and we blamed it on us being best friends, but it wasn't best friends.
We just moved to Los Angeles, so for our apartment, we have a little tree, and it's kind of wimpy. It's kind of like the Charlie Brown tree. It's cute, but it's a little tiny. And yeah, it's a cute tree.
When I was in kindergarten, I got a really, really bad case of the stomach bug. And unfortunately, I missed out on the legendary Christmas kindergarten party. I was devastated, and I have still been bitter about it to this day.
My dad lives abroad, so I don't see him a lot. My mom as well. So most of our Thanksgivings are spent with my aunt, but because of COVID, everything has moved to a virtual setting. So it's I've been doing virtual settings for holidays for years, and now is the time where everyone's doing it. So I was like, damn, you guys can kind of relate now.
I have a really big family. Everybody's really a jokester, and everybody just sort of goes at everybody all the time. So it's a really fun, lively situation the whole time you're there. But if you were to tell anybody what did we do at the end of the day, we just spent time enjoying each other, food was always on time, and yeah, nothing got burned, and everything was always delicious. So
when I was growing up, my dad had this secret Santa operation. So me, him, and my younger brother would go to my grandfather's Christmas party, and when we would come home, the whole house would be kind of a mess. There'd be wrapping paper everywhere, or cookies would have been eaten, and a bell would be left on the floor, and it was Santa came and kind of wrapped presents while he was there, because he didn't do it back in the North Pole for some reason for us. So we'd always come home to this really fun little mess, and I would always find the little bells, and I kept them, and I actually still have some of them right now, to this day. So that was kind of a fun, funny little thing, and when we think back on it, we laugh because we knew it was my dad's friend that was doing it now, but at the time it was really cool because we just thought it was Santa.